Hello and welcome to my first video on War and Order. Today we will be discovering which troops best suit your playstyle. So I've recently started a castle in a new realm and felt it fitting to discuss the benefits and differences between troops and their uses. Now, I know mages are a fan favorite amongst most War and Order players, but hear me out on why I believe that archers provide just as much, if not more, utility in most cases. For the majority of the first 2 years playing, it will always be the case that your opponents will be using infantry as frontline in team-based battles. With that said, if we take a closer look at each troop's individual skills, it will be clear why archers prove beneficial for these types of battles. There are 4 troop types in War and Order that includes infantry, cavalry, archers, and mages. Each type of troop has both an odd and even tier with their own benefits. The troop skill for even tier infantry reduces damage from mages by 25%, while the odd tier infantry raises HP while you are defending. In nearly every case you will find, as alliances become more organized, that they will have everyone sending 20 to 40% even tier infantry for every single attack. Cavalry has the troop skill Siege for even tier, granting them 20% bonus attack while on the offensive. Odd tier cavalry get reduced damage from archers, which is quite beneficial later on. Cavalry is strongly unrecommended until you are able to train T11 once you reach castle level 34. Prior to this point, most players will find cavalry dying too quickly for a frontline troop from a combat point of view. The troop skill for even tier archers allows them to deal 30% bonus damage against infantry, and the odd tier archers are given 25% bonus damage against mages. The thing to really consider here is the fact that attacking with mages of either tier will always deal 55% less damage than archers against even tier infantry, thanks to the damage reduction even tier infantry get from mages. Even tier mages have the benefit of 15% bonus damage against all troops while on the defending side. Odd tier mages receive 30% bonus damage against cavalry, which really shines as players begin to experiment with cavalry using dodge around the time you reach castle level 34. Beyond the 4 basic troop types, there are also angels that can be recruited with a resource called Guardian Force. You can acquire Guardian Force by taking losses while attacking an enemy castle. There's a daily limit for how much you can gain per day, but this can be increased with your college through research. Angels are a unique troop that fit between the front and back lines of your march formations and have the potential to dish out a ridiculous amount of damage as you move towards the late game content. The troop skill for Angels allows them to deal 1.5 times their damage to a backline target. During long battles, this will help mitigate the DPS that your opponent deals to your front line by slowly draining their backline troops. For every battle, there is a formation set based on the type and tier of troops you and your opponent send. If you send both odd and even tiers for every troop, you will have 2 rows of 4 troops and angels in the center of your formation. In a group attack where most alliances send all troop tiers to fill all positions, mages will always be on the outermost columns with only a few exceptions. Archers, on the other hand, will occupy the center 2 columns in the back row whether mages are sent or not. If, for example, during a team attack, an ally chooses not to send archers in their formation, but arrive to the battle first, then the formation for all players on their side of the battle will be forced to fill the unoccupied positions. This will cause archers to be on the outer columns during the battle animation, and will be a detriment to your overall DPS, as even tier archers are best suited to occupy the middle 2 columns to be able to attack the enemy infantry, which will occupy the middle 2 columns as well. The potential DPS of your team immediately goes up by 25% just by having mages on the outer columns in your formation, as they will often not be focused on the stack of enemy even tier infantry. Mages have a range advantage to archers and will engage enemy troops earlier and following a different path than the archers. With mages being the most exposed troop on the outer columns, your alliance may want to coordinate players to send 5 to 10% odd tier infantry to help protect your mages. Keep in mind that if you alone send odd tier infantry while everyone else does not, you will take the most losses due to the distribution of damage being uneven. There are many different formations that all have their benefits when attacking and defending other players. As the realm gets older, you may see players adopt a single column formation. This formation will include a single frontline troop of choice, often being either even tier infantry or odd tier cavalry once players reach castle level 34. They will maximize the amount of angels that they can send and then fill the backline with their troop of choice, whether it's archers or mages of their highest tier. Another formation that can be used in team attacks will occupy 6 to 7 slots and will benefit your mage players by providing them with better frontline protection. To do this, you will need to have everyone not send any even tier cavalry or odd tier archers. This way, the leftmost column will be empty and your even tier infantry will occupy the position in front of your even tier mages. Most everything I've discussed so far has been focused on PvP content, and while it is typically the most important content, there is something to be said about the decision between mages and archers in regards to PvM content. The upper hand is given to the mages when facing monsters, as they have higher base DPS and longer range while being the last troop that any monster targets. Mages will always get the most hits in when facing regular monsters, Fiend Trial, Abyss, and Demon Lord events. Beyond the basic troop stats and formations, there are a multitude of variables that come into play when deciding which better suits your playstyle. There is everything from gears, artifacts, emblems, colossus, and more to differentiate the potential benefits of choosing one side or the other. Personally, I choose to start backwards, knowing that the artifacts, gear, and Mystic College will be the most time-consuming and stat-altering upgrades for the army. I've played with both archers and mages and can easily see the benefit for both in different situations. Typically, it will be easier for the average player to build a strong castle using mages than it will be to do the same with archers. It is usually more costly or time-consuming for a player to pick archers as their backline focus. With that said, I find the utility of having several archer players in your alliance unmatched given the benefit to team battles. There are just a couple miscellaneous points I'd like to add that do not directly pertain to PvP or PvM content. The first of which is that you might find it beneficial to train an army of low-tier cavalry that can be discarded or rebuilt with relative ease. By doing this, you will improve your ability to drain a castle of its resources due to the increased load and movement speed of specifically even-tier cavalry. Secondly, once you've reached castle level 28 to 32, you may find it helpful to begin farming Guardian Force simply by sending 6 to 8,000 troops to die per day depending on your angel technology. This should supply you with plenty of the necessary resources to train angels without end. Lastly, I'll simply suggest that you train a sufficient amount of infantry at all times so that you can continuously attack with your alliance without being unfair to your teammates by sending less frontline than the rest of the group. The important thing is to work together as a team and you will ensure the best possible outcome. Be sure to keep an eye out for my future videos where I will discuss each of these further variables for choosing your backline troop to focus on. I'll be covering everything to do with artifacts, gears, colossus, and much more.